Although its name may be reminiscent of black and white agate, I'm hoping Onyx dives a little deeper into its scent story. Good tidings to you. I be the Cloying Clouds, and sitting here now is MCM's Onyx. A blind buy from my other favorite off-retail store, Marshall's of course. This fragrance was released, I believe, around 2023, and it markets itself as a men's scent and seems to share very similar DNA to that of Sauvage, which to me was an all-year-round wear, so here's to hoping this meets that same threshold. Before I forget, I will mention I picked this up for about $32. It was red tag. I'm not familiar where the batch number is on this. Let's see if it's on the bottom. There is a number down here. Maybe that's your batch number. I'm not sure. I'll dig into it further and find out. Okay, let me open this up real quick and I'll be right back. And we are back. I don't quite know what this is supposed to look like. To me, it looks almost like a purse or a handbag. If that's what it's supposed to go for, good job. If not, I don't know, then perhaps a camera? Some kind of carrying case, it looks like. This is definitely a smaller bottle than the ones I usually buy, but this does go for anywhere from $50 to $55 for this size, from what I at least seen on the old interweb, so not too terrible. My guess is that is the batch number right there, so okay. And it looks like this doesn't have a cap. It looks like this is a one singular piece type of situation, where the little primer is right here, and then your little sprayers right here. Very odd, very different. So let's see what we can get going on here. Take a peek at the spray. Of course, as always, one for the sky and one for the skin. Let's see what the spray looks like. It's a very strong spray. That is the projection of it. It seems to have a good trail. And let's spray one for the skin. I will say it's a soft mist, but it seems to go quite far. I'm going to let this sit for a moment, and then we will return right back. And we are back. Now, before I talk about what I personally smell, let's just touch base upon what's supposed to be inside of this. We have for our tops, Nigerian ginger, pink pepper, and grapefruit. And for our middle, we have French lavender, basil, and violet leaf. And for those base notes, we have Clearwood, Hatian vetiver, and Tonka bean. Okay. Initial sprays, I will say this has a very similar DNA to Sauvage. It has the same opening. It's almost like this bitter pepper smell, if I remember correctly. I do have a bottle of Sauvage next to me, so we can kind of see. If I spray this, I'll spray a little bit of this on my left arm, just to kind of do a quick comparable. I will say the Sauvage to me is a slightly bit more peppery than this one, and it has a more bitter citrus smell to it. The grapefruit that is inside of MCM seems to be quite subtle. The most predominant smells I get here are what I think is that vetiver and that clearwood with that pepper. The ginger smell, I don't smell too much of it, but I will say that the Sauvage and the Onyx are quite similar. They have very mirrored smells on their openings from what I can compare right away. Do I think this is a bit redundant to own this and Sauvage? I don't know yet. I'll wear this completely tomorrow and see how the dry down is, and then I'll probably add it in post. I just like to do initial reviews of these smells before I dig into the long term, how those two differentiate from each other, and just get an idea of strong openings versus weak dry downs. This definitely seems to have that sort of mass appealing scent to it. It's kind of what Sauvage is good for, is you can wear this pretty much anywhere you want, and generally speaking, you're going to have a fine time with it, and it seems to be quite all-seasoned, like a nice pair of tires. And that's kind of what this is striking me as. It has a very similar smell and tone to it. The thing that strikes me about Onyx is letting it sit for just a little bit more now and coming back to that smell. I will say the grapefruit up close is very noticeable, and so is the pepper. Grapefruit and pepper seems to be pretty predominant in this. This strikes me as a very nice office scent. I think that you would have a pleasurable time wearing this with just a few sprays and not have any issues. As for the price, once again, I got this for $32 for 1.7 ounces. Doesn't seem to be a bad deal. Now, this was a gift, but I will say at the time this cost, it was like 60, 70, 80 bucks or something, and this is a 1 ounce. So for price point, this seems to be a better price point than your Sauvage. I will say that is the EDT. versus the elixir or Parfum or what have you, but similar to their smell profiles. But initial impressions, this is a good buy right here. And this was a blind buy. I checked some initial notes on the old, I can't remember what site it was, just to kind of see what was inside of it. It sounded nifty. I picked it up. I'm not super familiar with this company that makes this fragrance. I don't know if they're considered a inspo house or they're more of a luxury line. I have no idea. But for the smells and the comparisons between the two, I would say very solid smell. I would recommend if you like the DNA of Sauvage, even Sauvage EDT, it's quite similar and it has more of a grapefruit approach to it than that ambergris and Broxton type smell on the back end. I would give this 4.25 little clouds out of 5. Price, performance, and projection as always. Price seems to be okay for what it is. I don't believe this is what you would call a cheap house. It seems to be one of those middle road ones that it sells their bottles for anywhere from like $80 to $100 for 100 milliliters. The initial performance of this seems to be quite decent as well. So if that changes, I'll throw it up in post. But overall, for the price point and what it's offering, not too shabby. I would recommend this if you enjoy that type of DNA. Anyhow, anywho, and anyway, I think that'll do it for us today. Feel free to follow and like. I never mind, and I do always appreciate it. You have yourself a good day. Bye-bye now.